Since Clemson and Florida State are pretty much on their way out of the ACC, I figured it was a great time for me to give you guys my 2024 Conference Realignment predictions. We're going to start off with the SEC picking up Florida State, Miami, and Clemson from the ACC. It just makes a ton of sense. I don't get why people keep saying the SEC isn't going to take these three schools. Yes, I understand that South Carolina and Florida's athletic directors don't want to allow Clemson and FSU entrance into this conference, but money talks volumes. And if you get these three teams to join, the amount of money that you're going to be able to get and your next media rights negotiations with ESPN is going to be bigger than what you're currently getting paid right now. These are three massive brands. And the Southeastern Conference, if they really want to live up to their name and follow the geography of what their name stands for, you would add FSU and Clemson and Miami because they're on that part of the conference. And you will control the Florida market. You will have Florida, FSU, and Miami. Now, if you're worried about the recruiting battles, who cares? Like, you're already having recruiting battles against them anyway, rather if you're in the same conference or not in the same conference. So I don't really get the logic with that. Adding these three schools makes a lot of sense. Florida, FSU, Miami, all in the state. I want to see it. And it would be a massive ratings draw because we would get to see them play in the rivalry game. Every once in a while, I don't know how with the new annual scheduling they have in the SEC is going to allow those rivalry matchups to play up. But imagine Florida versus Miami SEC championship. And these schools are definitely capable of being able to compete in this conference as long as they're able to get a good amount of revenue and they have the right coaches, which Clemson and FSU already have. The word is still out on Mario Cristobal. For the Big 12, I don't have them making too many massive moves other than adding North Carolina and Duke. Listen, you're not going to be able to keep up with the SEC and the Big 10 in terms of college football. But from a college basketball standpoint, getting Duke and North Carolina makes a lot of sense. You already have Houston, Texas Tech, Kansas. You got a lot of big name programs in college basketball in your conference right now. You add North Carolina and Duke, you got a super conference for college basketball, and that definitely is something that you definitely can use as a selling point to demand more money when you go back to the negotiating table with ESPN. Now, from a football standpoint, North Carolina and the Big 12, they have a way better chance of being a playoff contender and maybe a national championship contender in that conference than they are in the ACC. For some reason, North Carolina, they just can't find a way to get on to the same level that Clemson and Florida State are. Going to the Big 12, you don't really have a lot of established powerhouses there right now outside of Utah, and they haven't won a national championship yet, at least since I've been alive. So you could actually become a really great team in the Big 12. Duke, you could have more sustainable success where you're winning 8, maybe 9 games a season in football in this conference. The ACC, you got to go against Duke, you got to go against Clemson, Florida State, occasionally Notre Dame when you play them. In the Big 12, where the level of talent that you're going to have on the field yearly versus the other teams, I don't think it's going to be too big of a discrepancy, or I don't know how to pronounce it, but I don't think there's going to be too big of a roster difference in talent between Duke and the majority of the middle of the pack Big 12 programs. And I do believe that they could be a middle pack or middle of the road, maybe above average program in the Big 12. Does it piss you off how much you pay for your monthly phone bill? Why are you getting frustrated when our partner Mint Mobile has plans as low as $15 a month that give you unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network? Stop getting frustrated with how much you spend on your monthly phone bill and go to trymintmobile.com/JT Sports and description and pin comment down below to get access to premium wireless for only $15 a month. That's only $15 a month. Switching to Mint It's easy. It only takes 15 minutes to do. If you're pissed off with how much you pay for your monthly phone bill, switch to Mint Mobile today and go to trymintmobile.com/JT Sports in the description and pin comment down below to get premium wireless for only $15 a month. Stop getting upset with how much you spend on your monthly phone bill and switch to Mint Mobile today. For the ACC, I got them being on the offensive, and that's what they have to be, because if Florida State and Clemson eventually leave, which is going to happen, then you don't want to be left in the dust and suffer the same fate that the Pac-12 did, where you go from the Pac-12 to the Pac-2. You need to just add teams. Now, adding teams isn't going to help you keep your conference prestige as a power conference, but at least it helps you somewhat stay alive versus just going extinct. San Diego State has been a team that's been connected to the Big 12 and potentially the Pac-12 before that disbanded. They're in a pretty good media market. They do have a pretty decent-sized stadium, and adding them to the ACC would be a pretty big get for them. Memphis, they're renovating their stadium. They're in a pretty good geological for location, and they're a pretty good G5 program. They also got a pretty good basketball program as well. So if you're the ACC, you could still another good team from the American. You just poached SMU, who won the AAC championship last year. Boise State, they don't have a super appealing media market, but at this point, who really cares? You just have to add teams. You're adding a quality G5 school in Boise State. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even call them a quality G5 school. I would view Boise State as a higher prestige group of 5 program, similar to what Cincinnati was. You know, earlier in the 2010s, this was a team that came really close to making it to the BCS National Championship. And for the AAC, you would add a quality team that potentially maybe they could become a 9-10 win program in your conference with more funding. Washington State and Oregon State, you might as well just go ahead and form an alliance between the Pac-2 and the ACC. This is the best that you're going to get. You're not going to be able to get into the SEC or the Big 10. The Big 12 probably won't take you. The ACC, will probably be your next best option, other than maybe trying to form your own conference. But who's going to want to join your conference other than a bunch of Mountain West teams? And making a partnership or alliance with the Mountain West wouldn't do you any favors neither. Joining the ACC, even without Clemson and FSU, you still will be able to make more with their new media rights deal potentially than what you would make if you were to make an alliance or allegiance with the Mountain West, and you would get more exposure. So these are my 2024 conference realignment predictions. Leave your predictions for your thoughts on conference realignment in the comment section down below.